status update on a few things. Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about is like because I'm mostly working actively on that, which is the add-ons. um, um, yeah, I want to have a separate meetup for that because I guess this is very focused on Blender add-on or Blender related stuff, behavior graphs lately also. So it's kind of we're kind of like packing quite a lot in this one, and I think add-ons like the Blender client add-ons are like a kind of different beast, so they kind of deserve their own meeting like space and time.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yes, and I guess a lot of people are not aware of that we are talking about that here, and well, that was never the plan. So forking that into a new meeting, I think it's fair. And so I will announce that in the dev general channel. So everyone that is more involved in the client, extending clients or well, client development in general, they can can learn about that. That's when you join next week. I guess a lot of people are going to be interested in that piece. So we can anticipate some interest. But yeah, so for today, I just want to give like a brief update on the status of that.
Sounds good.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so let me share my screen quickly. I can't find. Yeah, this is one. There you go. Very fancy. Okay, so yeah, that's so yeah, but as part of the work on add-ons, I've been continuing basically updating the or adding the changes necessary on the apps client. Then, as I mentioned last week, there is like a types module now, which is this one. This is like apps types, which is what you will use for developing add-ons. So here you have basically all the interfaces and all the types that you require to create any add-on. Um, and then I've created also 3 add-ons as part of the initial add-on supply, so people can take a look and understand how you can develop. And one of them is sort of a template, which is this apps test add-on. As you can see here, this is a pretty simple one for now. I'm gonna extend it, but this is just like this is the prefab that we have. There was a cube, well, like simply like a um, floaty object that you can spawn through a chat command, uh, and then you can do that using uh, the chat command test add-on. So here you see that I have updated the API a little bit, and now you register the add-on, and then you pass an add-on ID and a configuration, and in the configuration you can have like a name, description, like one or an array of prefabs, chat commands, etc. So this is one of the add-ons, the test add-on. There's another one that is the DAC add-on, which is the is replacing the built-in DAC command. So that's yeah, the register register the add-on, specify the ID, the name, the description, on ready callback. So when the core system is ready, you can start like doing things like, for example, here we're adding sounds to the sound system that you can play later. You can set your systems, your inflators, prefab, chat command, etc. So that's pretty simple one. It's all built in these 2 uh, files, the prefab, and then the index file, the entry point for the add-on, and here is most stuff like system, chat command. Uh, and then I have like a third bit more elaborate one, which is this is one feature that I worked on a while ago. I think he's not here. I think he took that over. I'm not sure if he managed to integrate that into his client fork. But it's basically this portals thing, so you can spawn
Oh, awesome.
a portal, and then you can just communicate between portals. So I decided to, well, I thought it was like a good exercise to make that
Hmm.
because most of the work was already done, and then it's just like basically copy pasting from that PR that I had, or not even a PR, it was like just a branch. Copy paste the code and make it into the add-on template. So this is a bit more elaborated. And you can see that again we set an add-on ID, which is Hubs Portal add-on, a name, description, already event, which this is not really using because we don't really need to do anything prior to start executing the add-on systems or any other uh, inflators or anything else. So it's like here's just login, and then in prefabs there is one prefab which is specified with an ID and a prefab config here, which is the template and the permissions that requires an inflator, which is the specifies the type of inflator. In this case, is it JSX inflator. You can have JSX or JLP inflators. Um, this is JSX1. It has an ID and an inflator function, the system, which is specifies the system, and the order, and the chat command, which is the ID or the command ID, and then the function that's going to execute. And here you can see that this has a few more files. All the system is a little bit um, more elaborated. Uh, here, file for the shader. The prefab is pretty simple. It's just an entity, which is network transform. The portal, which the this is the component and the inflator that we registered before. So this inflator JSX portal refers to this component here. Then it's inspectable, deletable. Um, then this is the inflator, is what uh, this will call when this entity is created. So this will call the inflator function here, which is this, that will create basically the object and will register and add that object into the wall. And then we have the system that will iterate over all those entities in the portal component and just do stuff. So if you want to see how it works. Oh yeah, actually, I think we talked about last week. I added this add-on section in the room settings where you can switch the current add-ons on and off, and, and whenever you apply them, that will restart the room for everyone with that add-on enabled, disabled. But yeah, for now, the way this works is well, basically you go. Oh, I already have one here. So you have these portals, so then you can communicate with this other portal, and then you can create new portals. So I want to create a portal, let's say in this wall. So I can just go to the chat commands and say, okay, let's create another portal. And that creates a portal there, which is not linked now. So you see that it's just black because it doesn't have another end. So every time you create a portal, then the next portal will be linked with the previous one
Oh,
as a
cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah. So then you can span as many portals as you want, and then you can span the other end of the portal. Let's say here.
You've created the game portal.
Yeah, well, not exactly. Where you go?
I think you missed the L on portal.
Okay. Okay, there you go.
There
So
we
here
go.
you can see that the portal is facing to the TV. So this here, this is the
Yep.
closet, and
It
this
just
other end.
mirrors the color difference
Great.
Sorry?
on the
It's
portal.
black and white.
Yeah, but I made it on purpose. But it's just like a shader thing.
Ah,
It's-
okay.
Yeah, it's making it grayscale. I don't know
This
why.
is
Oh,
great.
okay, sure.
Yeah, so here you can
Nice.
just different
Wow.
portals and
Yeah,
so.
very nice.
What a great!
Uh,
That's a great one to use as an example, like of a plugin. That's so
yeah,
great.
I also like the portals. There's only one side. So you can cross this way, but in this way, if you cross the portal, nothing happens. So yeah, so this is basically that's the add-on. This is to
Okay.
show you a bit more complex thing that you can create with add-ons, which can be a cool feature, and probably like a lot of people might find this interesting. Uh,
Yes.
and then you can make it more elaborated, like whatever. Especially with the shader, you can get more creative. But, yeah, you can also make it. Right now, this is not placing the um, the portals very smartly, just like find or point in the nav mesh and just spawn it there and it as the avatar. And like, but you see like here, for example, if I don't align it very well, then it starts like intersecting with planes and stuff. So there's a lot of it will be part. This shader will be insert a chunk in the materials of the room shader. This should draw the portal on the objects in the room. So it will like if I spawn a portal here or in this wall, then this will show the portal, and the portal will open there. But I didn't want to spend so much time, so I made it a bit easier. Yeah, but yeah, as
Now,
you can see,
portals
uh,
spawned like that. Are they persistent across room loads, or do they disappear when you reload the room?
well, right now they disappear because I didn't make them pinnable. But yeah, this should well for actually maybe I complete that
Oh wait,
add-on and make
are
it more
they
work.
actual objects? Like, can you move those?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can move them because these are not. I didn't add the components to make it movable. Actually, at the beginning, it was movable. So at the beginning, so refine here. Yeah, we
Network
can make. Yes,
transform.
if you
Interesting.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Continue.
So here, if you add these, well, all these components, basically we can just get these all, uh, and we can place them here. Just as an example, um,
Does it need the grabbable component as well?
the gravel is, I think it's when you add holdable. It's added. Let me see. Oops. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Yeah, I think it's gravel is added as part of one of these. I don't remember which one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so essentially do this, then I just need to build these, and then um, this will reload. Uh, Now it's repacking. Takes a little bit. I'm working with, not sure if you're familiar with that, I'm working with linked node modules. So you can just create a module, link it on the main hubs project, and then you don't need to remove the. Well, I mean, it's an easier way to work with. And then the only thing that you have to do is add the module in the like a package JSON or npm install or npm link, and then you just need to add the modules that you want to load here in this file in hubs config JSON. And here you can add all the add-ons that you want. Um, so,
Helps config.json. Ooh, very nice. Okay.
yes, still, yeah, this error is just like is related to the npm link, but apparently it works fine. It's just it seems like it can't find the module, but it really does in the second pass. I don't know why. But, let's see. It's a little bit faster and a bit more modern computer. This is why it's just slow.
Yeah, that's okay.
There you go. So very weird. But yeah, it's a good idea. But maybe I add that as a finishing touch, the network version of the portal. So basically, it just needs to add a network schema, register that schema, uh, and then pin it whenever you add it. So add it and pin it, and then it will. But the thing is, like, well, probably a good idea to add it also at the object menu, so you can delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
let me see if this works because that's yeah, that's nice. Okay, so now this is movable, and
Very
now we
cool.
can add like a portal. Let's see here. Okay. Um, yeah, so now I can move here, but then if I wanna move this portal, oops, over here. Okay, yeah, I think I'm not refreshing the wall matrix, so that's probably the reason why it doesn't work. It's just a matter of adding a few more things, but it should work. It's just I'm not for the collision shapes. I'm not really updating the wall matrix, so they are not currently where they should be. Um,
Oh,
this one, yes, because this one is um, because I haven't moved that one, but the one that I moved, the shape should be still somewhere here. Yeah, so,
oh, okay, yeah.
so I think it's there still. So yeah, but I mean that's should be possible to do that. You know. Actually, if we put it here, if I move it, you can see the camera on the other
Oh,
portal.
Yep.
wow.
Yeah, I was just thinking that that would work. I've been wanting something like that for video source components for a long time, and I wondered if that would be possible to have like separate objects linked to each other. So
Yeah,
this is good.
It's
yeah, and
super cool.
that's the cool thing about the BTC system that not many people saw because we were working on it and kind of like it was not easy to get started. That you can reduce easily a lot of different systems and add components like I showed. Um, so everything that I have here, like this is already just part of the core. So making something readable, inspectable, cursor and castable. So all that is just part of the core. You just need to add those components and everything will work. So making a rigid body, floaty, physics shape, and now I just added another component, the portal. So this will create an entity and I will just add another touch. And the rest is mostly what we are using for most of the other spawnable objects like the tag or the camera or
Mhm.
the object that you drag and drop or place media, etc. So it's just like I think it makes it very easy to create new things and hopefully people find it positive. Yeah, so now I can just delete also this one and of course it crashes because I didn't account for that. Yeah, so that's part of the well, that's the status of the add-ons. I'm planning to hopefully I can by the end of this week have uh, have like a basic API that I can share along with these three add-ons. Um, I will try to comment on the templates and the add-ons as much as possible because I guess like good in-depth documentation is gonna take longer, so I will just add comments everywhere I can uh, for starter. And yeah, so people can start thinking with it. I will create similar to what I did with behavior graphs. I'm gonna create a branch. I'm gonna share all that in dev because I want to give people some time to take a look at it, and so we can discuss maybe next week in a meeting. Especially people that have been very active on or were active on client development,
Yay.
just what they think or if there's define it, easy to use, etc. And then after that, well, we can at least release some initial basic API so we can start tinkering with it. Yeah, so that's what I have about add-ons. Um, okay, yeah. Um, on the Blender add-on side, I still need to merge the scene publisher and the view transform spawn updates. And I'm gonna just I'm gonna sit tomorrow and just do that because otherwise I can spend hours working on add-ons and that also needs to get merged. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that tomorrow and release it. And then I've seen that we also have some. Let's see, somebody contributed a fix from the Blender add-on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Email.
So let me share my screen.
Gonna have to take a look at that.
Actually, here. Yeah, so it's just I guess it's a simple fix with something that was
It
broken.
should have already worked, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I haven't really taken a look yet, but I'm happy that we get contributions mostly.
Yeah, contributions are great. What are the code changes? It looks like only one file's changed, so
Yeah, no, it's not
probably
like
just a one-line fix or something.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean it's not a big PR, so I guess it's easy to review. But yeah, it's good that somebody took the time. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's good.
so yeah, that was mostly on the Blender add-on side. When I land that release, and then yeah, maybe also can as part of that batch of work, I can review that PR and merge it if everything is good. So we can make a release with all that. Um,
Yeah.
Cool. And then, well, that's mostly what I have because, yeah, as you see, I didn't spend much time on behavior graphs. Uh, Waiting to get that become an add-on. So that's the next stage. So having that API, then releasing the initial API, and then keep on expanding the API, probably with a lot of things that behavior graphs will require. And yeah, make like an alpha of behavior graphs after these beautiful things. And so yeah, that's for later. That's the roadmap. Yeah, that's what I have mostly. Maybe we can jump on Jim's updates because I've seen that Jamin also be active with demos and stuff lately. So maybe we want to share.
Yeah. Sure. Well, couple things. One, I was working on this thing yesterday that I posted about. Let me see. Let me share my whole. I'll just share the whole screen. And I'll put it in the frame here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I grabbed this model from Sketchfab, and it had this sort of like diorama feel, which was super cool. They had made this like blacked out sort of box around it, and some parallax and stuff. But what I liked was everything was hand painted, and even though there are models in here, a lot of them are just flat, like items on shelves and things like that. So it was kind of an interesting setup with not much overhead. Like it wasn't a very heavy scene. Everything's very low poly. But let me turn off something here. Let me turn off these relationship lines. Where are they? I can't find them. I don't know where they are anymore. There. So anyway, so then what I was doing was I was like, what if I could use this scene as sort of like the backdrop for a website? And so I made a bunch of waypoints around, and I used cameras just so that I could like see what they see if you were to teleport there, and then really just made some of the items in the room clickable. And so the end result, if I open this up, I don't know, it's not that flexible because we don't have a lot of control over camera. Camera is really controlled a lot by the avatar itself, and so you get kind of in this. I can't just say like set position in the camera. It's like I have to teleport a person and move them around, but it's revealing to me some features that I think would be nice to have. But like having a scene like this where you spawn in and maybe you can't move your camera or anything, and it's really just like clicking around. So like if I click the door over here, it teleports me to the next room. You can kind of see the other room is still there. And I can go like back and forth between spaces, or click on something in the room that takes you closer into the scene. I'm actually just I'm in this room. It's just moving in and out. So I don't know. It got me thinking a bit about like this could be its own kind of website. It doesn't have to be a game. It could just be the backdrop for your menus and your other things, but it's 3D and it's easier to manipulate than it would be in, I don't know, CSS or something else. So that was like one sort of newer experiment, and I thought it might get some discussion going about what kinds of things people might make. Because so far everything I've done has sort of been very like just very 3D focused, like and less about the experience. And then this was this block sliding thing that I worked on. I was figuring out how to make something slide around a scene without using physics, and the result of this one is really just a way to experiment and try some different things. So let me update again. You can see in this what I've got is a cube, and I wanted to be able to detect like somebody pushing a block around or something like that, because we don't have a lot of input yet. Like we can't just say, oh, put it on the arrow keys or put it on a joystick or something. So basically using what we have when we're in first person. But what I did was I ended up making 4 panels on the outside of the cube. That way I could have 4 different buttons, and it would be an easy way for me to know which way you wanted to go. So if you press this side, it's going to go negative X or negative Z, and then positive Z, or X and X. So when you click a side, it slides 1 meter, 1 cube in this case. But you can look at my messed up text.
Yep.
It's supposed to just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, if I move it, I can do several blocks at a time. It has a limit, so it can't go outside the room, which for me means I have to press it from the outside. But and then I just had some triggers detecting ins and outs just for fun. But this was a good exercise, and one of the things that I wanted to be able to do was make this a reusable mechanic. So if I go back to Blender here and I look at its properties, like of the cube itself, I have like how far do I want it to go per click. That's what I'm changing when I play with the arrows, distance per click, and the speed. So I can go slower, I could go faster. That's what's the speed refer to? I guess it's like duration is one that I don't like. That's what's controlled by the computer. I calculate how fast, like how long it should take if I want the speed to be constant. So now it goes double fast, but still takes the same amount of time, like no matter how far it's going. So that way, if it's going really far, it's still quick. Yeah, so that was just one experiment. If you're interested in seeing the graph for that, I'm going to make this one available because I think it's probably the kind of thing somebody might want to try to replicate. But it's not it's not too crazy. It's mostly this graph does all the movement, where it's just interpolating numbers and going from one location to another, and setting the position. And then in the beginning is when you click one of these sides of the box, it stores, like, it calculates where it wants to end up based on how far you wanted it to go, and then stores the first and second locations, and then passes that along so that when it does this, it knows how far to go. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I was messing around with, but yeah, it definitely revealed some bugs and some feature requests in doing this, that I don't really have to talk about right now because I'm going to write them up. But yeah, anybody have any questions or want to see something in detail?
For proper speed, we'll need to add like sorry, we'll need to add like a delta to the tick. So we can multiply the delta for the speed and then move.
Yeah,
the right amount.
that would be handy. Generally, I think I did already have a feature request in there, just more control over time in general. I made use of your for these interpolations for making it stop at the right time. I make good use of your set timer and clearing timer, so that basically whenever I start a thing moving, I also start a stopwatch that is like, how long should I go? And then I use clearing that timer as a way to send a signal that says, okay, you're done now. And then the done, like, often closes the thing that was happening every frame, you know.
What value do you use for translating the cube?
For translating the cube, what I do is I interpolate a number from 0 to 1, and then I remap that 0 to 1 to vectors. Like, so that X is changing from 0 to 1, Y is changing from 0 to 1, Z is changing from 0 to 1, and then I remap that to the values of whatever the locations are. I would love if this was all one node. It would be a lot cleaner. Like one little square. But
yeah.
But that's all right. We'll get there. I know we'll get there with prefabs and stuff.
Yeah, that would be useful.
It was uglier before. I used to do all this in 3 separate XYZ groups, but then this time around I got around to making a proper interpolate vec 3 to make things a little easier.
Okay.
How do you do the trails?
Oh, the trails are just an artifact of the fact that, so I ended up using spherical colliders because they're like the cheapest, and same with inside the cube. So the cube's sliding around, and every time it enters one of these, that triggers a thing, because I can't really store arrays. I can't store like, here's row 1, here's row 2, here's row 3. And so instead what I did was I made it so that the cube has an event that it has a couple events on it that say, where is it? The sliding cube. It has an event called interacted, which means like somebody clicked it. And then these triggers have, oh wait, what am I doing here? Oh no, sorry, there's a main object that controls the logic for something entering and exiting. And so every time any of these gets entered, it sends along what row and column it was in. And I store that on each one of these. Like, each one of these has a variable over here called row and column. And they're all unique. So, you know, this one's row 5, column 3. and it always sends those along whenever something enters or exits. And then I can take that information to know each cube mesh, like gets that and then compares it. It says like, hey, does my row and column match the one that entered me? And then it goes, okay, well then turn on. Like it has to be both. That was where I was experimenting with changing it to or. Because then I could get whole rows and columns to light up, because they'd be like, well, I'm that row, I'm just not that column, or I'm that column but I'm not that row. And so you could get some interesting effects from that. But all that's happening is when something enters it, they light up. Oh, this isn't being used. They light up, and then there's like a 1 second delay or something, and then they turn off. And so the trail is just, you're seeing each one turn off, a little bit after each other, because they get entered a little bit later. And I still get flaws like that if it goes too fast, which I think is really just too many events getting sent at once. So I experimented a little bit with like trying to change the size of the triggers, so that they weren't always getting hit simultaneously. And so the one inside the cube's a little smaller, so that it'll, not enter and exit one at the exact same time. I was trying to mess around with that, but if it goes a little slower, it doesn't happen. But at high speeds, it definitely happens.
That might be because at high speed, well, I guess if it is lit on, it should be lit off also, because I could imagine that if you move it like a super high speed, it could be that
like it tunneled.
Yeah, it doesn't really integrate the collision of the entity, between steps or whatever, because maybe it goes kind of over that entity. But
that's kind of what I thought might be happening.
lit off. Maybe that's some of the issue,
because you'll see it a lot. Like if I set it really high, it has no problem moving at that speed, but the detection of ins and outs and stuff.
For me, that makes more sense. So
like it's skipping over one as it goes.
Completely skipping, but what it doesn't make sense is the ones that turn on but they don't turn off.
Yeah, that one's confusing because it's just on a delay. Like as soon as it turns on, it pipes to a delay. So like for example, in one of these tiles, here's the graph. It's supposed to turn on. Oh no, you know what? I don't turn it off until something exits, but that should work. So but it's still doing some calculating on exit, so maybe it's just too fast.
Yeah, no, that could be it. That maybe the condition doesn't match. I mean, if you look at the when it exits the trigger or collision exit, trigger exit, sorry. Then if you have a condition, that might be the culprit.
Yeah, I think it's doing some extra work. Like for example, if I could change this so it doesn't do any on exit nonsense. Like I'll just, this isn't going to calculate. It'll just turn on, wait a half second, then turn off. Like none of them will ever stay on, but that's okay. We can see I bet it'll work a little better, even at this high speed. It's my guess, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little more. I don't think you'll see them get left on anymore.
No, I mean, that makes sense to me. That there are some that they get skipped because of what I mentioned about physics integration.
Well, if you could go slow-mo, you would see that like frame to frame, it's not covering the entire thing, right? It's like skipping.
Yeah.
As it's subdivided, like the distance. But yeah, again, if I set the speed to like something really reasonable, like even here, even at 8, it probably goes better than it did before because it's not doing all that extra calculating. Like it feels pretty. It's still skipped on there. I don't know. I think it's something about like you probably know this better than I do, Manuel, but does it like queue up all those events and then do them, or does it sometimes skip them? You know, like I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, like let's say it gets an input and output, an input and output. You know, it gets all these signals, but like they're all piled on top of each other, and it can't execute them all in one tick.
Mhm.
Does it do them the next tick, or does it just ignore it and say like, well, my chance has passed, so I'm not going to do it? Like one of those didn't light up, you know.
Yeah, but that's probably because they didn't detect the collision.
Like why that one, you know?
Yeah, but that's probably because I mean when we talk about the speed and the collision not being
Yeah.
because the for the physics engine there is like it integrates collisions in this frame, and then the object is not yet colliding, and then the next frame that is integrating collisions then is already passed. So I guess that's probably the case. Um, yeah, probably it's some.
I've
Probably.
definitely I have noticed that it's worse when debug is on because it's having to do more calculation
Oh, you
to
mean?
display
Oh,
them.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. If it's more
Like
than.
I get somewhat better results sometimes when that's off. But even that, like okay, so like right now it's allowed to move the maximum. It can move 7 squares at once. And you'll notice that in going all the way across, I think it's number 5, maybe one of them always is like 3, 4. Like that one was off. That was square number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Mm-hmm.
on the way there, and then or number 5, and then on this way it's the same one going back. That one.
Mm. Yeah.
It's like by the time it got through 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, by the 5th one, it was like I can't keep up.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Always the same like distance. Yeah, the second one, either side. Anyway, I don't want to get in the weeds on it. I just thought it was interesting.
Mm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, probably if we yeah we the thing with physics probably we'll need to lower the time step or something for
Hmm.
for that to work. But that's yeah that's probably much more uh, yeah that's more um, intensive. So I'm not sure if you want to do that.
This is really heavy because you are throwing lots of events.
Yeah.
And
There are quite a few. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the debug over here,
yeah, yeah.
it's a lot going on. So like if I clear it and then if I clear it and then I hit it, like that's a lot of events getting fired all at once.
And these are yeah.
Yeah, it made actually you weren't using the collision exit, right?
I am. I'm not anymore, but it fires those no matter what. Like it always tells you that those happened, even when you're not really interested in them. That's something I don't love. Like I wish you could.
Yeah, that can probably be enabled, disabled with the debug node.
Yeah, here's one other one, and I don't know if other people would agree with this or not. I tend to like to keep graph things granular and not, fold them into, doing too many things at once. But I have found that like uh, debug logs, I feel like I really would love it if they just had a default extra field in here so that I could concatenate what it was.
Mm.
I'm always doing this and then having to concatenate it and then add it. But like, I would love just a little like checkbox and I could say like label it, and then it would tell me when it fires what it was.
Yeah, great.
Maybe I'll write that one up as a feature
Did
request.
you try to remove the debug nodes? Because I guess they are heavy too.
The debug nodes? I don't know how heavy they are.
Manuel, what do you think? How
I mean,
heavy are they?
if you write a lot to the console, that can be some can have some overhead. If it's just a little bit, then should I mean everything. For example, things to avoid is having console logs or the backlogs or
Yeah.
whatever it is, because that's some work that has to be done to write
Um,
output and all that.
I'm
do you
also
know?
setting a variable on each one every time, and like I ended up not using this for anything, so now I'm wondering if I removed these setting of variables, like it's just another thing to
Yeah,
not do,
maybe
might make a
those
difference.
optimizations will help, like removing
Hmm.
the logs, removing any events not used, any action
Yeah,
points not used, and
because
that will.
printing text to
You need to.
consoles and
Oh,
stuff
oh!
can
It
be.
was everybody, everything. No, did it get each now?
No, it's still doing it.
No, no. Okay.
Okay.
Did you reload?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I know it
Yeah.
happens so fast you don't see it.
Actually, yeah,
Yes.
well, you updated, but a browser reload might need
Oh,
some.
some you have to reload for that.
Yeah, like
I'm
well,
gonna
depends.
reload anyway to get my text back.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
bug on the text. Let's see, take a look.
That one bugs me. Okay, here's the updated. Yes, I still lose one there. Although it's a different one, I think now. Or no, maybe not because I started later. Oh yeah, it's kind of different now. No, that time it was that one. I don't know.
Uh, so
I'm
it
imagining it.
changed.
Yeah.
It changed definitely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess looking for optimizations is always good. But
Okay. Well.
and then also
Yeah.
like maybe ins and outs of collision isn't the way to do this. You know, maybe a better way would be to check its position.
hmm
Since
This
these are all
often,
fixed
yeah,
positions anyway, like why bother with all the
yeah. Events
physics?
are really, yeah, critical.
yeah,
If
yeah.
there are too
You want
many in too short, within too short time, you may lose some, as we see. But
Right.
if you have a straight way, you could maybe track the way and then the path, and then use this information.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also goes back to like I don't really have a particular use case for this in mind other than this little toy that I made. So, you know, how much I want to optimize is really debatable. Like, I mean, what if the end result of this is no, it's only ever going to move 2 blocks at a time? Well, fine, then it works just great. You know, I don't know. Like, you sort of have to decide. I don't know. In programming, you hear about this a lot, where it's like, don't optimize too early or too
Yes.
unnecessarily. You know.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
but
experience
it's a very
is
But it's a very interesting use case for events. And we
Hmm.
see that there are some events lost. So
mhm.
to find
Yeah,
out what the limits are for that, it's very interesting.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to speed, then I'm often not upset because I'm like, well, you know, I don't know how fast the browser and the engine and everything, it can
Mm,
all
mm.
work, but uh,
Yeah. If you try to make the speed as high, well, I mean, like 40 or whatever,
I can make it very high.
yeah, then that should skip. If it's the physics step, that should skip like most of the.
Yeah, let's see. It's very fast. Zoom. Yeah, it
Yep.
skipped a bunch. So I mean,
Yeah, I think it's probably the physics step. So it's like there's, at some point it's a fixed step,
it's
and if
tunneling.
it's happening often enough, and sometimes I guess it's like the object is like it's before or after the.
Yeah, the collision checking is has a seems to have a special um, intervals, and if the block moves too fast,
In one
not
tick. Yeah,
every
well, it
yeah not every position is checked. It looks
makes
like it
sense.
is something like that.
Hmm.
Probably.
It's fairly consistent.
Maybe you move in one tick 2 positions. That could be an alternative issue.
Yep, there are a lot of reasons something like this could happen.
Yeah,
I
because
think it's mostly just like Manuel said. It's tunneling. It's like I can't hit all those points in that amount of time, so
Yeah,
it doesn't detect that it passed through.
I mean,
Because
this,
the frame rate isn't high enough. But
Yep.
this is the physics system integrates physics at a fixed step. And if you move the body too fast, and in that step you are before the body, and the next step you are after the body, then it won't detect the collision.
Yeah, I thought by switching it to spheres, it might be a little faster, and I think it might have been. But yeah, it's still not immune to tunneling. Like if it moves too much in one step.
Yeah, I know what time step that we are.
No.
Probably we have a very low time step because we don't want to put a lot of burden on the physics system, because then it perhaps is not really high performance environment.
Right.
So probably we have like pretty conservative time step, and maybe it's related to that.
It is but it's hubs syncing to V blank or not? But like, is it limiting itself to the monitor refresh rate?
Sorry?
But like the hubs, either physics systems or just the engine, is it limiting its frames per second to the monitor refresh rate?
I don't know, actually. I haven't really taken
It's a good question. I don't know.
I know we have. I really need to look into this.
Because that would cause problems in these types of things. Because you'd get a much lower frame rate than otherwise.
Yeah, maybe there's something that we can do about it.
Also, another possibility could be maybe letting the behavior graph set the physics tick or
step. Yeah.
Although that might be a bad idea.
I think a tick was a very, very short time frame. It is not related to the frame rate.
Right.
I mean, the other thing is that I would love to try doing this all with physics, like forces and stuff like that. But we don't have nodes for that yet.
No.
Oh, actually, in the stats, there's some stats about the physics system. If you go to the to apps, and then you have the FPS monitor, that's stats monitor.
Okay.
Oh.
So where can I see that in?
So you update the scene, and then on you have the stats, the monitor down in the viewport, in the
click on the FPS counter.
Oh, in here, right?
Yeah, you click on that and you see physics.
Okay, so what is that actually telling us?
What, don't you understand that wavy line? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, not really. I saw it, but I listen to it.
Physics things happened.
Step duration, actually, what we are showing there.
Oh, that's the step duration?
Okay.
So that comes from the physics engine. We just set it on the monitor to see it.
I put a throttle on it, by the way. So it's choppier now.
Okay.
I was just curious what that would look like.
So the request emission frame is 6 points.
Yeah, my FPS is perfectly fine. I mean, it's fast. but I don't know.
I mean, like what kind of graphics card do you have in there, Jim? This is a simple theme. 144 seems like a very